Hey there, welcome to the Tech Tuesdays webinar on intelligent data privacy and governance. I'm Brenda and I'll be hosting today's webinar. Today's presenter is Srinivasa Gopal, an Informatica veteran from the Customer Success Technologies team, handling data governance and privacy stack, and has developed a niche in data management solutions. Before we start this webinar, let's go through some housekeeping tips. This webinar will be for 1 hour, which includes a 45 minutes webcast, and then we'll roll over to live for 15 minutes to answer your queries. You can post your questions in the Q&A box and we'll be answering them during the session. Also, 15 minutes live after the presentation. All dial-in participants will be muted so that the presenter can present without any kind of interruptions. The webinar is being recorded and will be available in the Informatica Support YouTube channel and the Success portal. The recording will be sent to you as well. Please set aside some time to complete the post-webinar survey and provide your feedback and suggestions for upcoming topics for the Tech Tuesdays webinars. The Tech Tuesdays webinars is a webinar series introduced within the Success portal. The Informatica Success portal is a micro-learning platform that offers free and unlimited learning to all registered users. The Success portal will show up your success offerings, your customer success manager information, bookings available in the Ask an Expert session, and customized recommendations and content. Here are a few links that you can go over later that will help you in understanding Informatica products and get onboarded. Over to you, Srini. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. Here is the agenda for today's webinar. We'll go through some of the key use cases of data governance and privacy, along with data governance framework, overview of data privacy management, key integration touch points of Axon, data catalog, data quality, and data privacy management, data governance and privacy architecture, demo and question answers. Portfolio of use cases related to data privacy and governance is applicable to all industries, right from financial services, insurance, retail, medical, healthcare, energy and manufacturing, and automotive and transportation industries as listed here. Some of the key use cases are GDPR, CCPA, BCBS, which are required for achieving regulatory compliance. Let's look at some of the data governance framework principles. The fundamental block for data governance is people, process, and technology driven by business. Hence, strategic business drivers plays a major role in setting the business goals and success factors. Also defining the key KPIs, performance indicators for achieving the business outcomes plays a major role in principles of data governance framework. Let's look at some of the examples of this. This is applicable to the respective organization to define through a workshop of data governance of what can be the key business drivers. And here are some examples of business drivers. It can be regulatory compliance or digital transformation or business innovation. So any business drivers having this corresponding business governance outcomes like data democratization, improved data quality, and having key KPIs that can be measured against the achievement is plays a major role in seeing like how the business has realized the value of data governance framework. Technology being Informatica being a data management leader, so technology can be used with the products from Informatica. Some of the people related sections are establishing a data governance org structure, program charter, training, etc. From the process perspective, it's change control board, business review, rules review board, from the process review or approval, etc. So establishing this principles and governance framework is a key before entering into the actual program execution. How to enable data governance? So the key board from the organization side is having a data governance council and stewardship committee and having a chief data office. From the people perspective, data stewards plays a key role along with data analysts, data privacy analysts, etc. Process perspective, they'll be having the data ownership and accountability along with workflow collaboration and automation. And from the enterprise perspective, this program will become a one-stop shop for the data, and it will help in crowdsourcing and getting feedback for the process improvement. From the product suite perspective, Axon, EDC, IDQ, and DP. Axon playing the key role of business context, KPIs, metrics, and reports for business, whereas EDC provides the physical context of the data with schemas, tables, columns, etc. From the data quality perspective, the data quality rules or scorecards provides the state of the data quality and where it can be improved, or it's already in place of data quality metrics. From the data privacy management perspective, it helps in establishing the privacy policies, risk reporting, subject registry, and data protection. All driven by clear enterprise unified metadata intelligence framework. What is the operating model for data governance? What if you're starting to establish a new data governance organization? So what will be the model for data governance? So establishing a center of excellence for data governance, having stewardship, data quality management or data management teams plays a major role who can, as we see here, that is an operational team which interacts with the data governance program sponsors who controls the investment and steers the role of our operational team, along with enterprise team of having strategic guidance and conflict resolution. Team plays a major role here who interacts with the COE. An example of data stewardship program can be like getting the inputs of data stewardship inputs who can be a single point of contact for business and facilitate the feedback and the update and process challenges, reviewing the reports on data quality metrics, etc. And the output can be like getting the opportunities to the COE and update the data definition for the glossaries, oversee the adherence policies, cleanse the data based on the data quality metrics that has been reviewed. So this is one of the key area of data stewardship program. Similarly, other programs, the functionality and the execution can be monitored by the COE. The only integrated data governance platform being Informatica, which is an integrated, automated, robust tools enabling self-service and data steward productivity, answers some of the key questions related to what data do we have, what does it mean, where does it come from, and what is it appropriate use, and who can help me to reach out, right? So hence this plays a major role in providing business the complete context of the data, whereas the individual products of enterprise data catalog will help in discovering and classifying the data of the physical data, and data quality will help in operationalizing the measuring data quality metrics and scorecards, whereas enforcement can be done through data privacy management or all the data privacy and security policies. Moving on to the data privacy and governance, the key sections that we'll go through for handling the data privacy and governance is understanding the data risk and responding to the data subjects and remediate the risk impact by following stages, like through the understanding the data risk by any areas of the data that is coming through from the respective source system to discover and classify personal data and prioritize risk. This can be done through enterprise data catalog and data privacy management solutions from Informatica, whereas define and privacy governance policies for data can be done in Axon data governance product. Then once the risk is identified and understood, then responding to the data subjects can be done through mapping the identities to data report on using data subject access request using data privacy management, and consent management can be done in customer 360. Once the data subject is addressed through the response, then the next step is to have the remediation step on the risk that has been identified to secure the and protect the sensitive data using the data masking solution, along with if action taken on the data minimization and must data archiving based on the remediation step or actions taken through the data governance program. Moving on to data privacy management. Informatica's data privacy management helps organizations to discover data, classify, as well as protect and monitor personal and sensitive data across their enterprise. The framework includes tracking the sensitive data policies and classification policies, risk scoring, and orchestration of the remediation of the sensitive data, object registry for DSA requests, and alerts or monitoring for data breach. How to protect your data assets and respond to the privacy requests includes basically who is accessing the key data assets and where is the location of where the data is stored, and tracking the movement of data. All these are important to for sensitive data, along with which data is being classified, risk associated with those key assets. Intelligent data discovery and classification, the DPM provides a framework in order to define policies and what kind of rules that is associated with the policies on the sensitive data analysis. Some of the key features are conformance scoring, where we can black or white lists with recommendations to limit false positives, and including multiple compliance policies for contextual classification. And it also supports for structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. Also provides the proliferation, which is basically the data movement across sensitive data, whether it's upstream or downstream. Subject registry for user transparency. This is very important feature for identity mapping, especially for GDPR, CCPA, and other privacy legislations. DPM provides a single view of data subject, where it provides record level matching and linking automation, and only the data elements needed for matching is stored. And also it provides a list or locations of data stores that contain subject data. Mapping of subjects attributes or data domains that exist in various stores. This helps in searching for the subjects and generating the desired report. The key aspect of data privacy management is to perform risk analytics, where analyzes and monitor privacy risk with the help of remediation with the data protection and understanding the data privacy compliance, and monitor for data misuse and privacy violations, along with prioritizing investments and resources with audit and compliance. How to orchestrate the remediation for data protection once the sensitive data is found and it has to be taken to the next level to take action on it is multiple ways inside DPM. One, you can initiate the workflow to remediate the risk using ServiceNow integration with the ticketing management, where it can be integrated with other protection mechanisms. If it's with Informatica's data protection, there is a native integration with persistent data masking. And there are out-of-the-box third-party protection mechanisms with Ranger, Sentry, and Microsoft. Or the other way is to do a custom scripting to perform the remediation of data set that has been found to be sensitive, and action has to be taken on that. And how to next step is to have the monitor of data use and cross-border flows, and provide alerts on excessive data access and cross-border flows. We can see the security policy violations in data privacy management with the dashboard having data movement across borders, along with excessive data access by users, wherein you can also monitor the user behavior that might be risky and exposed an organization to data misuse, and you can set up alerts accordingly. Moving on to the privacy dashboard, this is a latest feature where it can track the privacy-oriented metrics, which provides one quick view of a status of privacy operations, the DSAR requires, and etc. And it has all the metrics basically to take action on the critical time-bound subject-related tasks. You can always switch to the security dashboard, which is the where you can track the sensitive data location, proliferation, etc. that we discussed earlier. This is a new dashboard being introduced, and also you can always switch the dashboard between privacy and security. So what are the key indicators of privacy in the privacy dashboard? Basically, it helps in tracking the subjects, how many total number of subjects are there in the system, and what are the total legal holds that are there for the subjects, along with basically a trend line of subjects requests in the system, and these are made as updates are made real time based on the requests. And also you can monitor the number of subject types in the system and number of subjects per subject type. This is very helpful for the data privacy analysts or privacy officers to monitor the subject requests. And also you can see how many number of data stores with that subject in the system, along with which number of stores where data is shared with third parties. The next step is to find out like how to what are the protection options with Informatica with applications, which is basically Informatica's dynamic data masking or basically persistent data masking or data at rest encryption situations. So basically you can use either one of the options based depending on the use case. To take or remediate the action taken on the sensitive data. Persistent masking option is by default can be integrated with data privacy management using extensions. Rest of the activity needs to be monitored through a custom workflow. Moving on to key integration touchpoints of Axon Enterprise Data Catalog, data quality, and data. How to democratize data, having risk, taken a look at the rear view mirror and generate business value. Here is the sample data flow with the reference architecture, wherein ingestion can be done from the wide variety of sources. It can be structured, semi-structured, or unstructured. The next step is to curate and normalize clean raw data. Data integration and data quality frameworks, and depending on the data, whether it's master data or not, you can leverage the master data management solution for match and merge. Passing on to the data privacy governance framework, wherein DPM is used to operationalize your data privacy controls, which involves key items of discovering and classifying the personal and sensitive data, along with mapping of identities for access controls with the DSAR reporting, assessment of risk and cost impact, remediation of data protection using masking or archival solutions, and audit controls for privacy compliance effectiveness to ensure that the data is safe to democratize and ready for consumption. Here is a cross-product view of product suite of Axon, data quality, data catalog, and data privacy management. All of the integration touch points are bidirectional and they can be configured in Axon admin panel. Axon and data quality are integrated through a data quality agent, basically used to link the data quality rules and profiles and scorecards to extract the dashboard. Or it can be the other way is to generate the data quality rules using the NLP based algorithms into data quality to accelerate the data quality deployment. Axon and EDC is basically integrated through REST APIs where a linking of business and technical metadata is made. Axon and data privacy management is basically integrated through REST API as well, which basically reads the privacy information from data privacy management and displays data privacy dashboard. Along with the other integration touch point is to extract the process from Axon into data privacy management to show the privacy related policies and sensitive data. Axon systems are integrated to the data stores in data privacy management, which in turn is basically a resource in EDC. It is an example of client master database, which can be linked to the respective data stores physically in data privacy management along with the resource in EDC. Here is an example of data privacy dashboard at a system level. Once the integration is completed with the data privacy management, using the classification policy defined in Axon and linked to TPM, along with once the sensitive data is discovered in data privacy management, you can see the protection status and risk level of the system, which is very important to monitor from the data privacy team and take actions accordingly. Moving on to another integration touch point is basically how the process in Axon is integrated with dashboard of data privacy management. You can see the risk score and protection status along with sensitivity level by system in the process level of view. How to accelerate privacy time to value with catalog integration. If you are already an enterprise data catalog customer, it definitely adds value in accelerating the data privacy management deployment, since you can have a straight feature of importing the data stores and scan results from EDC's resources, and also highlight policy gaps for incremental scans. And there is an on-demand sync which takes care of syncing up EDC and data privacy management data stores along with classification policies integration, helping in accelerating the overall deployment of data privacy management. Moving on to data privacy and governance architecture, we can see the Informatica platform with all the DG product suite here. Having the user interface section with the corresponding the repositories with interaction with source systems. So user's interface can be a web browser which is interacting directly with the Axon or respective interfaces from applications, or it can be third-party applications extracting via APIs, or it can be developer client, which is useful for data quality rules, as well as building the data domain rules for EDC. Basically, Axon being the front face to business is interacting with the respective applications and extracting the relevant information. In case of enterprise data catalog, it's extracting the technical metadata and linking to the business metadata. Whereas in Axon to data privacy management, it's using the data privacy information as well as from data quality, can be a data quality rules metrics. So hence Axon being the reporting mechanism as all the systems together and governance platform is helpful in decision making from the respective units in the organization. Data privacy management in turn interacts with the masking or archival solution for remediation of the risk. Data quality has an underneath repository, which is basically used to store the data quality rules and profiling results, whereas EDC or DPM has uses the big data cluster to store all the metadata information or sensitive data information, which is using all these applications are respectively when the jobs are triggered, it interacts with the source systems, whether it can be a Hadoop cluster data or business intelligence reporting or data warehouses or databases that can be structured, semi-structured, unstructured. Hence the jobs can be, functionality can be data profiling or data protection or retirement kind of execution or metadata extraction related jobs. And the applications take the respective actions and provide the relevant matrices to business for taking appropriate action and moving on to the program execution of data governance. Let's move on to the demo. Here on the Axon home screen where Richard Moon is the data privacy officer and has access to these dashboards. Looking into the retail overview dashboard, this is a company-wide dashboard highlighting specific important details related to the top priorities of the company. Some of the key widgets that has been monitored is retail glossary maturity, retail customer data quality, retail processes, attributes without glossary terms, etc. Data privacy dashboard is basically providing the important issues related to the privacy of personal data, especially on the GDPR and CCPA programs. It tracks the policies and status across the board. Some of the key widgets are personal data definitions maturity, data quality for GDPR, personal data policy maturity, as well as other key important matrices like personal data policy stakeholders, along with their life cycle, PI data without governance, and sensitive data definition maturity. Richard has his own dashboard where he can track what are the pending activities with him, along with key other widgets like how many change requests are there along with this aging. Let's look at some of the pending tasks that he has action on. There is an activity related to the workflow, which is a change request for privacy impact assessment required for order management process to be compliant. Let's look at this workflow. Requires an immediate action from Richard to review the workflow and what is its stage basically. And here looks like the privacy impact assessment is affected item is order management. Order management process. It's a definition and what kind of activity it has. Let's look at some of the components. It starts basically with getting an order to the order shipped with all the sub processes. Let's look at more details into this process. You can overlay with the data, business, organization, or regulatory on the process items. Let's look at some of the overlays like systems to see which systems is associated with each sub items of the process. Some of the key systems are consumer website, retail customer MDM, the Oracle retail data warehouse, etc. So we can see what is the sensitivity level from data privacy management on each area. So we can see the risk score is red on Oracle retail data warehouse, whereas MDM is not having any score. And consumer website is on yellow. Let's look at the protection status. Protection status is good on the MDM, but Oracle retail data warehouse, there is a challenge on having the sensitive data along with the sensitivity level. So now from the each process perspective, it is very clear on what is the privacy or protection status from data privacy management for each system. Let's look at some of the data quality scores as well. You can see for each process item, and there are attributes listed and corresponding data quality scores based on the rules have been displayed here. There are a few items like transaction IDs having a data quality score that needs to be improved, along with the street data element here in this system. Transaction ID again. So basically, there are key items like transaction ID that needs to be having a better data quality score. Let's look at some of the policies associated with each process here. Managing orders, privacy of personal data policy, which plays a role here in the privacy policies are associated with these process items. We can also look at who are the stakeholders who are accountable for each process. Richard Moran is basically the accountable for the Oracle data warehouse system here, and this process has a process steward. So let's go look into the Oracle data warehouse, which is having a challenge in having a protected status as sensitive and red. So let's go into those and a deep dive on that. Here is the Oracle Retail Data Warehouse System, which is having the glossaries listed. Let's look into the system level data quality dashboard. Along with, you can see various dashboards. Let's look into the data privacy dashboard. So this system is very clearly showing there's a lot of unprotected data which needs to be taken as next step to protect it using data privacy management. Here is data privacy management. Let's go into the data security dashboard to view the fields and etc. to initiate the protection task. So here is a data security dashboard in data privacy management showing the location sensitive data proliferation across data stores and the top data stores that have been scanned for sensitive data. These top data stores, we can see basically there are a lot of data stores being scanned and protection status being on red. Let's go to the detailed data warehouse that is a matter of concern for Richard right now. The upstream seems to be green and and downstream seems to be green. So basically it's showing this is showing the data movement across the board. We can see there is a process link from Axon, and the order management process that we just navigated from is over here. And the details of the risk score and then the production status has been shown. How many sensitive fields are there? There are 4 sensitive fields and the total risk involved. Now, Richard has to take action to send email to masking admin to take the action of orchestration and remediation of the sensitive fields and protect it. Basically, he's going to take an action of sending an email to the masking admin and creating a task for the masking admin to take next steps of remediating and giving all the details of what are the masking fields that needs to be addressed. And once this task is complete, he can go ahead and complete the order management process that has been pending with him as a task activity in Axon. We can now go back to the order management process and basically take action on the change request that has been raised and provide a comment saying that he's waiting for the masking admin to complete the activity to protect it, and then complete this task. Reviewing the activity and making a comment on the privacy impact assessment to wait for the masking admin, Richard has a task for reviewing the data privacy dashboard, and he gets back into the data privacy management and switches the dashboard from security to privacy. Data privacy dashboard basically lists down the total number of subjects being scanned and trend chart related to subject requests, subject types, and data stores. Also, it has a grid of tracking the subject requests by due date. These are requests that has been addressed over a period of time, and top data stores by subjects along with its location. As of now, there is no action required from Richard since all the DSR requests have been completed successfully. And he moves to the Axon for monitoring the dashboard activities and next steps related to the tasks pending. This is how you can track the pending tasks from privacy perspective and achieve the goal. Thanks to the end of the demo. Thank you.
Hey everyone, please post your questions in the Q&A box and we'll try and answer them.
Here are some questions and responses. I'm going to read through it. This question is from Sudha Manda. What is the additional advantage of ADC if you have DPM? It's a great question. Data privacy management is basically addressing the use cases of handling how to handle the sensitive data, protecting it, and applying security policies or classification policies. Whereas enterprise data catalog is for capturing all the metadata across the enterprise and more in terms of discovering the data and domains and etc. Right? Lineage across the board. Whereas in EDC, you cannot apply security policies or protection, so you need to get data privacy management for that. So each area has its own functionalities. However, there is a common functionality among them. If you already have EDC, you can import the data stores that have been already scanned in EDC to accelerate the data privacy management deployment. Right? The other question is from Gauranga Panda, wherein the question is like, before we go for any DG project, is it mandatory to go for data quality? So this is a great question. So as there was a slide for framework, which starts from the business drivers. So it is very important to start from the business drivers in any data governance program. Hence, if the business driver is to improve the data quality, then a KPI needs to be defined and measured. And then if there is a KPI defined to improve data quality and measurable, then it needs to go for a DQ, else it can be ignored. So it is very important to start from the business drivers and then get into the program execution. This is a great question. The other question from the same person, before we start DG project, what are the basic minimal questions we can ask to get insights? Usually from Informatica, we recommend to have a data governance workshop. Please feel free to reach out to us to have a workshop if you already own the products, right? If you're coming from partner channel like Deloitte or TCS or etc., please feel free to reach out through the partner enablement sessions to have this workshop conducted for enablement. The other question is how to build the operating model and what are the best practices to follow. This is again like there has been deck published after this demo to give an example of how an operating model looks like. For in detail, I would definitely reach out to Informatica and get the enablement sessions. There is one more question from Kishore Kumar. Can we use TDM, which has the data privacy rules and classification instead of DPM? TDM is for can be used from protection perspective. whereas data privacy management is needed to discover where the sensitive data is, how is the proliferation, etc. And from there, you can apply protection mechanisms to TDM. There's a straight extension from DPM to TDM, where you can apply the protection mechanisms and masking rules. Hence, data privacy management plays a driver role here, and the execution can be done from the protection on TDM. Right? I think that answers all the questions over here. I think we are good. All the questions. Is there any other questions? Please feel free to post the questions on the Q&A box. So there is one more question from Gauranga again. How we can measure ROI for DG project? Very important question. This is basically again going to the back to the framework wherein the governance outcomes is defined and measurable KPIs are being defined. And let's say for a customer we defined KPIs as improving data quality. Maybe a monthly or quarterly reviews needed on how much of data quality score has been improved to see what is the business value. Similarly, other drivers have to be measured over a period of time at regular touch points. Very important question to generate value out of data governance program. And especially we have seen customers being IT driven and trying to showcase value. It's best to engage business to right from beginning to get value out of data governance program. The other question from Kishore is, can we get the session recording? Yes.
Yes, so Kishore, the recording will be available in the Success portal and also in the Informatica YouTube channel. Please go on, Srini.
Yes, sure. The other question from Bill Zhang is, which tool can be used to scan a database to identify sensitive data automatically? It's the data privacy management. You can set up a scanner, like set up a data store and scan it and schedule it so that you can scan sensitive data. And also you might have to define the classification policy so that you can see what sensitive data you might have to capture. Like for example, CCPA will have a classification policy related to subjects like first name, last name, social security, etc. So you might have to define the classification policy, configure it in data privacy management, and then schedule the corresponding scanners with the databases. So there's one more question from Sudha Amanda. Can you talk in more detail about the use case between Axon and data privacy management? I would recommend to go take a look on the governance architecture. Axon is basically facing the business, which is giving the platform for defining the policies, processes, and glossaries, etc., all the high-level facets for business, which also reads the data privacy information from DPM. Hence, it's interfacing for business to give high-level metrics on data privacy in case of Axon. And data privacy management does the physical handshake of scanning with the physical data sources and telling you where is the sensitive data proliferation, those deep dive information. Whereas Axon is more of a reporting and matrices that business can take a look and a decision can be taken. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have additional questions on this. We can deep dive further if you have any specific questions. I think Ramesh is answering that question as well. I think we answered all the questions. You're good, Vrinda?
Let's wait for some more time, Srini.
Okay. Yeah. How can we decide which tool is best for a data governance program? Informatica as a leader, as you see in the Gartner Magic Quadrants, especially with the whole suite of data governance products, you can do an evaluation of the product tools just to do the best fit approach here. Especially here, it involves multiple products, and the use cases define the scope as well as how to execute. So an evaluation can be conducted. However, Informatica is data DG. Can we leverage EDC scanners where DPM cannot scan? So basically, looks like it's already answered by Ramesh. Yes, you can, but there is a very small delta between EDC as well. All right. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have further questions. As we discussed, like especially on the operating model or framework setup, how to set up, execute the program. It's best to reach out for a data governance workshop with specific use cases discussed.
Yeah. Also, just like we have called out before, we will have the recording for the session in the Informatica support YouTube channel and the success portal. The link for the recording will also be sent to you. We again have 5 more minutes. Please post your questions in the Q&A box. We will try and answer them. Srini, there's one question from Gaurang.
Gauranga,
Yeah,
I just saw that question. Yeah, thank you. Do you have any template for product differentiation like Axon or Colibra? So the features and functionality of Axon is there. I think Colibra is a competitor. We have to reach out to the sales team, I guess, on this to do a proper comparison. It's not available out of the box, but has to be evaluated from sales team. So there's one more question, Naveen Sangankar. Can we get trial access to DPM if the organization is not for the licensing? Please feel free to reach out to the sales team to discuss further. If you're asking from the partner channel, again, reach out to the partner team on this.
So yes, looks like we have answered most of the questions. So if you feel that we haven't been able to fully answer your questions anyway, please write to us at the survey that happens after this webinar. Mm, yes, Srini, there is one thank you note coming from Gauranga.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Gauranga. Appreciate it for the feedback.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Srini, for spending some time to conduct this webinar. And also, thank you for joining this webinar, everyone. Hope everyone is safe and sound. See you on our next Tech Tuesdays. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.